Some mysteries keep you curious. These ones, they'll keep you up at night. There are crimes so twisted, so strange, and so full of unanswered questions, they feel like something out of a horror movie, only worse, because they actually happened. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 creepiest unsolved crimes from around the world. And trust me, by the time we hit number 1, you'll be checking your locks twice before bed. These stories aren't just dark, they're chillingly real. And the scariest part? The people behind them were never caught. Let's get into it. Number 10. The Boy in the Box, Philadelphia, 1957. Imagine stumbling across a small cardboard box in the woods, opening it, and finding the body of a young boy inside. That's exactly what happened in 1957 near Philadelphia. The child, estimated to be between 4 and 6 years old, had been beaten, cleaned, and wrapped in a blanket. There were no signs of who he was, where he came from, or why he had been left there, and, strangely, no one ever reported him missing. For decades, investigators tried everything. They released facial reconstructions, ran DNA tests, and followed leads across state lines, but every trail went cold. He became known only as the Boy in the Box. No name, no justice, just silence. Number 9. The Isdal Woman, Norway, 1970. She was found, burned beyond recognition in Norway's Isdal Valley, a remote and eerily nicknamed spot locals called Death Valley. Her labels were removed from her clothes, her fingerprints had been rubbed off. In her luggage, multiple wigs, fake passports, and a notebook filled with cryptic codes. The dental work in her mouth was traced to East Asia, a detail that only deepened the mystery. Some say she was a Cold War spy. Others think she was running from something or someone. But to this day, no one knows who she was or why she was there. The case is still officially open and her identity still unknown. Number 8. The Hinterkaifeck Murders, Germany, 1922. The Gruber family lived on a quiet, isolated farm in Bavaria. Before their deaths, they told neighbors they'd been hearing footsteps in the attic and seeing footprints in the snow that led to their home, but none leaving. They thought maybe it was a prank. Days later, the family was found slaughtered in their barn. They were killed with a mattock, basically a sharpened farming tool. One by one, led to their deaths. Even the maid and the baby weren't spared. Here's the creepy part. The killer stayed in the house for days, ate meals, fed the animals, slept in their beds. No one was ever arrested. The only clue: one set of footprints leading in. Number 7. The Axeman of New Orleans, USA, 1918 to 1919. He didn't break in to steal, he broke in to kill, always using the victim's own axe. Over the course of a year, the Axeman of New Orleans slaughtered multiple families. He'd enter homes at night, murder whoever was inside, and leave just as quietly. But what made this case especially strange was a letter he sent to newspapers, claiming that on a certain night he would spare any home playing live jazz music. That night, the whole city lit up in sound. Clubs stayed open all night. Bands played in homes. People danced terrified. And true to his word, no one died that night. The murders stopped soon after. The Axeman disappeared into legend. No suspect was ever found. Just a trail of blood and a jazz-fueled nightmare. Number 6. The Tamam Shud case, Australia, 1948. On Somerton Beach, a man's body was found lying in the sand, fully dressed, with no ID and no signs of trauma. Nothing seemed off, until a tiny scrap of paper was discovered hidden in his pocket. It read, Tamam Shud, Persian for, it is ended. The words were traced to a rare book of poetry found in a car nearby. Inside the book was a handwritten code, still uncracked to this day. The man's dental records and fingerprints matched no one. Even facial reconstruction couldn't bring any leads. Who was he? A spy? A lost lover? A suicide wrapped in riddles? We still don't know. Over 70 years later, the case remains one of Australia's greatest unsolved mysteries. All we have is the cryptic final message. Number 5. The Setagaya Family Massacre, Japan, 2000. In a quiet Tokyo neighborhood, just before New Year's, a peaceful family of 4 was murdered in their home. The killer didn't rush. He stayed for hours. He ate ice cream from the fridge, used their computer to browse the internet, and even took a nap on the living room couch. Blood was everywhere, but the scene told a bizarre story of calm. Like the killer wasn't panicked, he was comfortable, and he didn't try to hide. He left behind his own bloody clothes, used the bathroom, left fingerprints and DNA all over the house. Police collected all of it and still found no match. Thousands of leads, years of investigation, but no answers. Whoever did it walked away clean and has never been found. Number 4. The West Mesa Bone Collector, New Mexico, 2009. It all started when a dog brought home a bone. At first, the owner thought it might be from an animal until it was confirmed human. Police began searching the area, a dry stretch of desert on Albuquerque's west side. What they found next was horrifying. One by one, they uncovered the skeletal remains of 11 women and one unborn baby. Most were young sex workers who had gone missing years earlier. Their disappearances had been dismissed. Some even blamed the women for putting themselves in danger. But this wasn't random. The killer had a pattern, a timeline, a dump site. And yet, they left no DNA, no fingerprints, no clues. To this day, no suspect has ever been named. Locals call the unknown killer the West Mesa Bone Collector, and the desert still hides more secrets. Number 3. The Hinterkaifeck Murders, California, 1981. In a quiet vacation cabin in the Sierra Nevada mountains, a mother, her teenage son, and his friend were murdered, tied up, beaten, stabbed, and left in a blood-soaked living room. A daughter, Tina, went missing. What's strange is that 2 younger kids were found asleep, unharmed, in the next room. Another daughter was staying with neighbors that night. No one heard a thing. Tina's remains were discovered 3 years later, scattered in the woods, nearly 30 miles away. Evidence was mishandled, leads were ignored, even suspects were known, but never charged. Decades later, a missing hammer was found in a nearby pond, matching what police believe was one of the weapons. Still, no convictions. One of the most disturbing parts? Whoever did it likely knew the family and knew how to leave quietly. Number 2. The Death of Eliza Lamb, Los Angeles, 2013. You've probably seen the video. Eliza Lamb, a 21-year-old student staying at the notorious Cecil Hotel, was caught on security camera acting strange. She presses all the elevator buttons, peeks around the corner, steps in and out, waves her hands, as if she's hiding from someone only she can see. Weeks later, guests at the hotel began complaining about low water pressure and weird tasting water. Maintenance went up to the rooftop tank and found Eliza's body floating inside. The tank was sealed. She had no history of breaking in, and there were no cameras near the tank. How did she get up there? Why was she acting that way? Was it a psychotic break? Foul play? Something paranormal? The case was closed as accidental drowning, but nothing about it feels accidental. Number 1. The Zodiac Killer, California, 1960s to 1970s. He called himself Zodiac. He murdered couples in parked cars, sent taunting letters to newspapers, dared police to catch him, and claimed he'd killed 37 people, though only 5 were confirmed. What made him different? The ciphers. He mailed coded messages, claimed if they were solved, they'd reveal his identity. One of those ciphers wasn't cracked until 2020, over 50 years later, by a team of amateur cryptographers. And even then, the message didn't reveal a name, just more gloating. Despite a mountain of theories and decades of investigation, the Zodiac was never caught. He disappeared as suddenly as he arrived. And his real name? So there you have it. 10 nightmares with no endings. The scariest part? These aren't ghost stories or legends. These are real people, real lives, and in some cases, the killers might still be out there. If you made it this far, you're brave. Hit that next video if you dare.